Got a few people there. Got a lot of family and stuff. It's good.
Was it good to catch up with them?
Always. Yep. I love seeing them.
Yeah, as you would. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for inviting me to your home to organise this, I guess, in such a tricky time.
No worries.
Are you going okay?
Yeah, best I can.
Yeah. You're young yourself. Is your family around? Do you have mother?
Yeah, we got a lot of support. Like, I just came from the party. Lots of family there that are supportive and stuff. But no, we got the best parents in the world. So caring, very caring.
Yeah. Did they want to be a part of this ceremony service in organising it, or is it just going to be on?
Honestly, I think I'm here today as well because I just want to stay out of it. So that's why it's probably just going to be us.
Yeah, that's no problems at all. Now, I haven't had too much information yet about Suanne. So do you mind if we just start this process, if I can ask you a few questions about her?
Absolutely.
Once we've done that, we can go ahead and designing the ceremony and what that will look like. I have a really good idea of who Suanne is.
Yeah.
And we can tailor make it to her and how to, I guess, farewell her in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And then we can, answer any other questions at the end. Is that fine?
Cool, that's fine, yeah.
Fantastic. So, Suanne's full name, what is it?
Yeah, so it's Suzanne Jacob, Suanne Jacob.
No middle name?
No middle name.
No middle name. And did she have any nicknames?
Yeah, she went by Suze a lot.
Suze?
Yeah, Suze.
With a Z?
Yeah. She just preferred Suze.
And is that what everyone called it?
Yeah, everyone that knew. Otherwise, to make it pretty known that she just preferred to be called Suze. So everyone, friends, family, people that she didn't know very well.
Fantastic. Did she have anyone special in her life, like a partner or?
No, she didn't have a partner.
No, just single.
Yep.
Do you think there'll be any former partners at the funeral?
Yeah, there could be maybe just some boys from high school and stuff.
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
Nothing too big in that part?
Significant now.
Do you know her date of birth?
Yeah, so she was born on the 10th of October, 1996.
And where was that at? Where was she born?
She was born in Berry.
Berry?
Yeah.
At the hospital?
Yep.
And your parents, can I know their full names?
Yeah, so it's Maureen Jacobs and Derek Jacobs.
Mm-hmm. And they are together?
That's together,
Yeah. So they'll all come together to the funeral and support each other.
Pretty tight family, so.
Fantastic. And what about other brothers and sisters? You're obviously Suanne's brother.
Yeah.
Do you have any other brothers or sisters?
No, it's just me and Suanne. I think that's why we were so close and stuff. We just had each other.
Yep. Fantastic. Can you tell me anything about Suanne when she was a bit younger, her early life?
She's a very vibrant kid, pretty outgoing, and chatty. She's just bubbly in general.
Yep.
She's always pretty switched on in school and sports.
Was she always one to have a lot of friends and have that social life behind her?
She was always one to fit in, absolutely, yeah. Never got massive friend groups, but she fit in pretty well, and she could kind of float anywhere, so.
Mm-hmm. Was she a spiritual kind of person?
Not in a sense. She felt free, but she wasn't really religious or didn't have any sort of commitments like that, but no, she was always, she was just free. Convinced of some higher power, but we were all unsure of what that looked like.
Mm-hmm. What about her education?
Well, yeah, she finished year 12 and stuff, had plans to go and study nursing and all that, but she did very well through school, really smart. Didn't have any troubles with any of the academics.
Yep. Did she have any favourite teachers or any favourite subjects?
She loved agriculture, yeah, because she loved animals, so they kind of went hand in hand. So ag was her favourite. She loved Mr. Brian, the ag teacher, so that is pretty cool. He's one of the best.
Yep. Were there any fond stories or memories that you have with her from school?
Yeah, absolutely. She especially with ag, because she loved the animals, she'd always try and convince our parents to bring animals home and stuff that she'd see. Sometimes she'd even just spontaneously bring them home, so we'd have no choice. So we ended up with some stray pets, and because we had a bit of land too, she just brought a cow home one day. So
she brought a cow home.
It was a small baby cow, but we know that it was going to grow up to. We're going to look after it. They're pretty big, so it was going to take up a lot of space and probably a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. That's a little bit random to bring home a cow.
Yeah, well,
what did your parents think of that?
They were a bit blown away, to be honest, but they know the passion and the love that she has for animals and stuff, so they couldn't just tell her to send her back. So
they fostered that kind of.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Whatever sort of nurtured her, it's good for her well-being, I guess. Whatever she sort of enjoyed, they tried to just sort of brace it and just back her up all the time, as they do with me as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Did she have any work or part-time work, or did she volunteer anywhere?
Yeah, she volunteered at a zoo. So pretty much just sort of cleaning and feeding animals and stuff. She went from working in a cafe and stuff to volunteering because I think she just wanted to get involved with something she's passionate about, not just slinging coffees or being a waitress, but caring and loving animals and stuff.
Do you know the name of that zoo?
Yeah, it's the Monado Zoo.
Monado. Where's that?
So it's closer to a country area, but it's probably 15 minutes out of Murray Bridge, 20 minutes out of Mount Barker, so pretty off the grid. But
and is that where you ended up doing your schooling?
Yeah, so we both our family moved from Barrie to the country, so we both went to school in Murray Bridge, and we finished our schooling there. So she was volunteering at the zoo because we lived pretty close, and
yeah. Did she ever talk about wanting to become a zookeeper, or? She
did, but she liked doing that stuff. She wanted to sort of incorporate her passion with her career, so she might get a bit burnt out or bored of it. So she now she wanted to be a nurse, but sort of keep doing some volunteer work maybe on weekends to sort of give back and do something that she likes doing.
Yeah.
But also, nursing was always on the radar.
Fantastic. Once high school had finished, what was she doing?
So just taking a gap year, just like I said, she was working at that cafe for a bit, and then she just decided that she was just going to hand that away and start doing some volunteering and just see how she went with that, which was good. And then her plans were to use her ATAR after to get into nursing at Flinders University. So but she was just doing a bit of part-time work to get some cash, and then volunteering at the zoo, which took over. Yeah.
Did she have any other recreational hobbies?
She loved to play sports. We both played a lot of sports together growing up. She loved basketball and netball, because she was a good shooter and stuff. So she was always pretty involved with that stuff. Played for a club in Murray Bridge. Played for Imperials. She's very good. But we played a lot of sports together and stuff. She didn't play basketball for a team, but she liked to shoot around and probably even contributed to her netball game a bit. So she was pretty on top of all that stuff.
Did you ever play in social teams with each other, like mixed netball?
We played some mixed netball together, absolutely, yeah.
Were they fond memories that you
absolutely.
You hold on to?
Yeah, it was good fun. Just because we always played sport together growing up, so doing that and playing for a team and getting a little bit competitive together was great fun. Some of the best times, actually.
Fantastic. Were there any other hobbies that she had?
Yeah, so the one thing I could beat her at that we both loved doing was playing Mario Kart. So
Video games,
yeah. Only some. She never got too involved, but no, we loved a bit of Mario Kart. I think it's just the competitive nature behind it that we sort of embraced together, and got to beat her a few times. That was good.
Fantastic. Does she have any other likes or dislikes that you know of, such as like her favourite flowers or colours?
Anything vibrant, I think. Pretty good imitation of her personality. It's just vibrant. She loves a lot of colour. So any flowers, I'd assume. But
do you know any specifics of what flowers she might have liked, or you're not too sure?
I think daisies she liked quite a bit.
Yep.
But living out in the country, there was always lots of colour anyway, lots of flowers and stuff. We had a bit of property, and Mum's just staying in a pretty cool garden, so we were sorted.
If you could picture the chapel at the funeral home, which you said to me before that you've seen, can you picture what you think that space could look like, or what you'd want to see? Would it be cool if there were daisies?
It would be cool if there were flowers, yeah. I think she obviously people are mourning and are quite upset, but I think that she would also want people to remember her for who she was and how she was a pretty vibrant, outgoing person. So I think it'd be good to see some colours and flowers there and maybe just brighten up the scene a bit, given the situation, just because I think that's what she'd want for people to remember her by, just, her outgoing personality and character.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something that maybe just imitates her would be good to see in the chapel, I think.
Yeah, for sure. We have a live garden out the back of the funeral home, and our maintenance and grounds people do a fantastic job growing that, and that's covered in the cost of the service. So
that's amazing.
Maybe we can have a wander down there at some point, and we can have a look, and maybe decide if you'd like anything like that in there. Something your parents might want to come along to as well.
Yeah.
Did she have any arts under her belt, like music or painting or?
She wasn't super artistic. She was pretty good at the piano. She kind of self-taught herself that, but she wasn't a natural muser or a natural artist or anything. But I do believe most things she put her mind to, she could probably accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So I think self-teaching piano was a pretty good.
So she was a go-getter, tried as much as she could, and experienced a lot.
Yeah, one of those people that could put their minds to something and probably achieve it. So.
Yeah. Did she do anything around the world? Did she go on any holidays or?
So we went on a lot of family holidays and stuff. We've been toured a lot through Australia and all that, so we go into a lot of places through Australia. And we went to Japan as well to go snowboarding, and she always loved to travel and all that as well. So.
What was she like at snowboarding?
Well, obviously, like before I stated, she's just good at everything she tries and puts her mind to, so she's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Pretty natural at it. Had a couple of falls on some of those blue runs and all that, but you get that.
Did that turn into a competition as well between you?
There was no competition. I was shocking at it. She was a lot more coordinated than I was. So,
So it was 50-50 where you guys came from in competition.
Hey?
It's a bit 50-50 with the competition. You were good at some and she was good at some.
Yeah, that's right, Snowboarding, she had it covered. Mario Kart, I was your man.
Yeah. Do you think there was any special people in her life that we should really mention during this service? Was there any big influences, anyone influential on her that had an impact on who she was?
I think definitely the ag teacher, Mr. Bryan. I think he helped sort of just nurture that passion for animals and stuff as well. And he'd be pretty gutted about this whole thing as well. But I think she'd want to just give her thanks to him for everything and just sort of nurturing that passion. And her best friend Katie, I reckon, she was always by her side, and they're like family. So she was a floater, but she had her best friends.
So she had a lot of friends, but really, trusted someone like Katie.
Yeah, you've got your close ones, and that was Katie for her as well. So they went through school from reception to graduation together. So.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone else?
Maybe I guess just family. I don't know.
The family, yep.
Yeah, the family.
For sure. Is there anyone already deceased that we should mention at her funeral? Is there grandparents or anything that?
Yeah, I think we could mention grandma and grandpa. They were just always really supportive of everything we wanted to do, and while they were well as well, they'd always come out to what we're doing, like sports and all that, and get involved with everything, and just show us nothing but love and support and backing for what we enjoy doing. So it'd be good if we could shout them out as well.
Yep.
That was Grandma Rosie and Grandpa Ross.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. If there was one thing that you think we can remember of Sue Ann, one really important thing, what do you think that would be?
I think just her outlook on life was always positive. Always wanted to sort of pursue her dreams and just everything that she was about. She'd always give 100% for. So I think just being a hard worker and just striving, in the face of trial and tribulation, she'd never really give up. So I think just being a go-getter, being a hard worker, and a lover as well. Just a lot of phenomenal aspects. It's kind of hard to mention them all. She was just one of those people.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Is there anything else you want to tell me about Sue Ann, or would you like to continue forward and start planning the ceremony?
I think we can move forward.
Move forward. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously not flash, not too great, but yeah, I'm here today because this sort of stuff has to be organised, despite the situation as well. So I'm just trying to get this done.
Good. You're doing a great job. You're doing a fantastic job. All right. Have you got any ideas what you'd like the service to look like? Have you thought about this too much, or have your parents said anything to you?
Honestly, I think we've all just been really caught up and really just grieving, so we haven't thought about it at all. And I've been to a couple of funerals in my life, and I didn't pay much attention to the design, so I've got no clue where to start.
Not sure. Are you thinking a simple service where I guess lots of stories are shared about Sue Ann, and where people can just really remember all of the positive memories and the happy times? Yep. So my role as celebrant, I guess, is to facilitate that space and to make sure that flows. And I've got some words of comfort that I'll be able to share, considering the circumstances of Sue Ann's passing. Maybe if we have a look, I've bought my laptop with an order of service on it, which is here. This is a very basic kind of outline. It doesn't mean this is what we have to do, but it covers everything. And so normally there could be a processional.
What's that? What's a processional?
Yeah, it's when some people like to have their casket there ready in the funeral. Sometimes it's carried in with some music maybe, and then a short welcome is after that. And what I generally say is on behalf of you and your parents, that they're all welcome there today. So yeah, it's about you guys starting I guess greeting everyone in a way.
Makes sense.
So would you like someone to bring the casket in, or would you like it just to simply be there?
I think maybe just to be there already would be pretty good.
And like we were saying before, if the casket's out the front, is there anything that you'd like, anything special that you'd like on that casket? To maybe we can put some daisies around it and on it.
Lots of colourful flowers, but maybe keep the daisies in the front.
For example, for maybe older people, if they were in the war or something like that, they can have their medals out the front on the casket, and maybe a picture of them in service. Is there anything of Sue Ann that you think would be good to have in that space?
I think there's a photo of her with our two dogs that I took. I think I'd like to put that in there as well.
Is that something you can organise and maybe put in a little frame?
Absolutely, I can do that.
And did she, because she liked animals so much, are there any like soft toys that she had, like plush toys? Or...
Yeah, she had plenty of plush toys and stuff just from growing up as well, and some that she actually had bought herself just out of her love for animals and whatever she enjoyed. So this is actually a small collection of them back home, and I think we could pick out quite a few that she'd appreciate to have up there.
That's all good to know. So if you just keep thinking along the lines of what that could look like, and then we'll be in touch a little bit later and we can organise how that's going to be set up for sure. So after that, I often do a welcome and introduction, like I said, on behalf of you guys, and that can include anything you want. So it could include for more religious funerals, sometimes a prayer or a hymn.
I do think we should put a prayer in there, the Lord's Prayer. The
Lord's Prayer at the start?
Yeah, we should open with that, I think. Even though she was pretty free, I just think it's a good way to introduce it, the whole service. And
is that something you'd like to confirm with your parents first to make sure that's...
I'll run it by them as well, but I think there will all be an agreement, so I'll definitely just chuck it in and get their opinion.
If not, there's a few other options that we could have a look at. Some people like to just play a song like Amazing Grace. They feel it doesn't say the word Lord or God in that very famous first verse. So sometimes people like that because it's quite a calming and peaceful song, but doesn't, I guess, go too far down the religious path. So if the Lord's Prayer isn't something that they are keen on, maybe we can look at a different option. But I think it's a good way to start.
Yeah, I'll definitely run it by them and keep you posted.
Fantastic. Once, I guess, the welcome's finished, and I've been able to say just a few comforting things, and I'll definitely use some of the things you told me about Suanne. We often do what we call a eulogy. Do you know what a eulogy is?
No, not really.
Not sure? No. Basically, it's a recount of somebody's life. Okay. So quite often it's delivered by a family member and written by them. Yeah. So it would be Suanne was born in Berry, at the Berry Hospital. Yeah. At school, this is what she was like, and these are her achievements. Yeah. This is what she loved to do. These were her friends, and Mr. Bryan meant a great deal for this reason. Yeah. So it's a chance for somebody to be able to write and read out, I guess, an account of Suanne and her life, and start celebrating the memory of her. In some cases, a family member doesn't feel that they can read it, they want to write it, but they can't read it. And if that's the case, I'm very willing to be able to read that on their behalf, and I'll make that clear that it's their words. Yeah. And sometimes people want to give it a go, and then if they, start crying halfway through because it's just too upsetting for them, I can jump in and help them out. Yeah. Okay. Do you think there's anyone in your family that would like to do it?
Can maybe me and my parents do it together at all? We could all read parts maybe. I can run it by them and we can all have a go.
I think, considering you're here today and doing such a good job, if you did write it all together as a family and then you tried to deliver it on the day, could be a great idea if you think you're capable of that, if you're up to that. Yeah. But I can definitely be there on standby. If
I could have you on standby, I think that'd be good. I'll write it with them and try to read it, but I'll see how I go.
It's a time where that a lot of people that will be in attendance do enjoy, because it is a good start to the reflection. Yeah. You'll hear a lot of laughter at the funny moments. I know it sounds weird to have laughter at a funeral, but sometimes when you recount those stories, like bringing a cow home,
I understand that.
People might have a giggle, which is great, and it brings those positive memories. And then sometimes you'll say something and you'll hear some people crying, and that can be tough, especially if you're reading the eulogy. So if you prepare that with your parents, and then maybe have a few practices in front of the mirror, and then I'll be on standby at the funeral just in case it doesn't quite work out. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Fantastic. After the eulogy, sometimes we have other speakers. For instance, it could be a poem that Suanne liked, or it could be a poem written specifically about someone's passing. Yeah. There's a whole range of poems and readings about that. Do you know of any poems or readings that you think might be appropriate? If you don't, I definitely have a bit of a list that we could have a quick look through.
I would like to look through the list, yeah.
Yeah? If we can. I've got one here that could be quite comforting.
Yeah.
It's called I'm Always With You. Would you like to read it out?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and do. You mustn't tie yourself to me with too many tears, but be thankful we had so many good years. I gave you my love, and you can only guess how much you've given me in happiness. I thank you for the love that you have shown, but now it is time I travelled on alone. So grieve for me a while. If you grieve, you must. Then let your grief be comforted by trust. That it is only for a while that we must part, so treasure the memories within your heart. I won't be far away, for life goes on, and if you need me, call and I will come. Though you can't see or touch me, I will be near, and if you listen with your heart, you will hear all my love around you soft and clear. And then, when you come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and a welcome home. Yeah, I like that one.
Do you like that one?
Yeah, that's nice.
Sometimes people are just really comforted by a poem or a reading. So
Yeah.
if you feel like that, I guess, would be something that does that, accomplishes that,
Yeah.
and is a bit of a tribute to Saween, I think that would be a great way to go.
Yeah, well, like I talked about with the vibrancy and stuff, and how she was and loving and wouldn't want the funeral to be really droopy and just full of sadness, but actually a good memory of her and remembering her for the loving and caring and happy person she was. It's a good summary of who she was in that poem, I think.
Mm-hmm. What I'll do, if I give you a copy of that one to take home, and maybe you can show your parents that one too.
Yeah.
If there's anything else that they think would be suitable as well, we could do that. Is that something you'd like me to read out, or do you think there would be a family member or friend? You mentioned
Katie, yeah.
Yeah, Katie just before.
I think I'll run it by the family and see if Katie would maybe be a good fit for that one, because I think she would be.
Sometimes people like to go up in pairs. Were there any other friends? Does Katie have another best friend that might want to go up with her and just support her?
Yeah, she could probably take up Lauren, or she could take up like one of our family members with her. Like Katie is like family to us, so if she doesn't want to bring anyone else and wants to keep it sort of family related,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, one of us could go up with her.
Fantastic. And again, I'll be there for a bit of backup and support as well if we need that.
Yeah.
I'll print that out and send it
Okay.
to you. And if you have anything else, you can definitely let us know.
Yeah.
What about music? Does she have a favourite song that she would like to?
She liked a lot of old music and stuff, like a lot of old rock and country kind of music as well. So I think there was a song by Kansas actually. It was called "Carry On My Wayward Son." She liked that song a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Would always play that and stuff. I think that's a nice song. We could include that.
Yep, definitely. Maybe, is there a photo? Do you have a lot of photos of Saween, or were you guys together?
Yeah, we got heaps together. Yeah.
Do you think someone would be willing to put together a little presentation, maybe with that song in the background?
I'd be willing to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I could take that on.
Sometimes it's a great reflection, particularly after we've read the eulogy of all of those good times that we've already shared.
Yeah.
Then we have something called a committal, which is sometimes when it's the last goodbye at a funeral. So sometimes the casket is lowered, so it can't be seen anymore, or sometimes a pallbearer will come forward and pick up the casket, often friends or family members, and then they walk it out of the chapel towards the hearse, I guess, if we're having a car.
Yeah.
Have you got any thoughts on what that could look like?
Yeah, I think I could speak to my family about maybe us being like the bearers of that coffin. Maybe we could.
Pallbearers, yeah.
Yeah, we could maybe do that together. It's something I'll run by them, because I don't want to put any sort of pressure on them at all as well. So we could organise that as a family, and if someone could do it, or we could do it.
Because I was told on the phone that there will be a burial service afterwards, so
Okay, yep.
that could work if somebody's if there's some friends that will be the pallbearers to take it to the hearse, and then we'll all drive to the cemetery where that service can begin.
Yeah, we can organise that.
And leaving the chapel, would you like any sort of reflection where people are able to say their own personal goodbyes at the casket? Sometimes there could be flowers that people can have, and they place on the casket.
Yeah, I think I'd like to have that. Everyone in attendance would probably know Suze quite well, so I think they can bring whatever sort of whatever they value, whatever sort of sentimental to them. So I'll leave there. So maybe anything that Suze liked as well, they just put next to it. And yeah, that'd be good for them to say their own goodbyes too in their own way. So
yeah. Sometimes in a funeral ceremony, people would like a chance that's open for anybody to come up and share a memory.
Yep.
Sometimes in a ceremony, something will come up and people just really want to share it because it's on their heart. It could be a final goodbye, or it could be just a great little memory that they wanted to share with everybody. Some people don't like that because it is unstructured.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I totally like that idea as well, and I think that Suze would like that idea, to give everyone a chance to say their piece, to give their final goodbyes or share some memories. So I'd like to leave that open, sort of delegate a time to have that, so we don't sort of interrupt the service, but we'll have a time where we just allow people to sort of come up and say something. I think that'd be really cool.
So what I've got down for the order of service is we'll start with the casket in the chapel. Everyone will come in. I'll give a welcome and an introduction, and we can include the Lord's Prayer, but I'll just wait for your confirmation on that. And then between yourself and your parents, you'll write the eulogy, and you'll try to speak that, and I'll be there as backup. We'll have someone doing the poem that you read out, which will be fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
I'll pencil in Katie, but we can see she's got her favourite song. I'll be able to download that off of iTunes, so that will be fine. And you'll organise the PowerPoint with the different photos.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then as we leave, everyone will have an opportunity to place a flower on the casket.
Yeah.
But before that, we'll do an open reflection, a memory sharing.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important.
Yeah. Do you know if there's going to be a wake afterwards?
What's a wake?
A wake is, a place for everyone to gather and just to continue the celebrations and keep sharing the memories.
Yeah.
You're not sure?
We're not sure yet, but I would also like for something like that to happen. So there's a lot I need to talk to my parents about already. I'll just add that.
They've probably had a little bit of a thought about that already and what that could look like.
No doubt.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to give you my business card on the way out, and that way you can have my phone number, my fax number. If you need anything, you just contact me. We're here to make this process as simple as we can, and to make sure that you're comfortable with what's going on. So if you confirm just one thing with your parents, let me know, and I can keep making arrangements for the service.
Yeah, great.
And I will, from what we've got, just make sure that I start getting things in place and make sure we've got enough flowers, and maybe we can walk through there at some stage.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for spending time with me today, and thank you for inviting me to your home.
That's all right.
And we will be in touch, and my sincere condolences at this time, and hopefully I guess this ceremony will bring a lot of peace to this situation, and we can really value and honour who Sue Ann was.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.